sorry that no one is able to take your call at the moment. If you require urgent assistance and you live within Eastbourne, please call the Eastbourne Community Hub on 01323 679 722. If you live in Willington, Jevington, Wannock or Polegate, please call the Wilden Community Hub on 01323 443322. You may also like to email Caroline at caroline.ansell.mp@parliament.uk. Alternatively, please leave your phone number, your name and a short message and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you.
Hello, this is a message for David, who I spoke to yesterday. For an hour and 40 minutes. It's Bryony McCarthy speaking. I can't begin to tell you what state I'm in. Look, I'm going to have to leave more than one message for you because I've got to get this out. I am fuming, angry. I've got to get this out there. And this is, I am live streaming all of this, and I'm being deadly serious about this. I did appreciate your time and your appointment. A social worker, out of hours duty, social worker named Emmanuel came out to me last night. I believe it must be because of our discussion of what I told you, but it's not going to, with all due respect, of course, it really is just saving face, and it's just someone he's saying we can get someone to check on your things at the property, but that's really nothing, that's just something that shouldn't have had to. This is a council accommodation that I'm just too scared to go near. I've lost several accommodations and I've now had time to realise it has lights.
Recording. Message saved. For calling the office of Caroline Ansell, Member of Parliament for Eastbourne and Willington. We're sorry that no one is able to take your call at the moment. If you require urgent assistance and you live within Eastbourne, please call the Eastbourne Community Hub on 01323 679 722. If you live in Willington, Jevington, Wannock or Polegate, please call the Wilden Community Hub on 01323 443322. You may also like to email Caroline at caroline.ansell.mp@parliament.uk. Alternatively, please leave your phone number, your name and a short message and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you.
It's Bryony McCarthy leaving a message for David, the caseworker I spoke to. As I said, this is probably going to come out in a few messages. There needs to be a serious investigation into all these things that have had a serious impact. The social worker landlord, and I could use some really bad language that I would like to use, but obviously I would never do that. So I refer to him as a cretin. The social worker landlord in supported accommodation, Andy Francis. Nick Stepney was their housing officer who came to my late mother's house, and my mother said to him how I would end up in front of me if I lived on my own. I'd just slump into a corner and give up. This is someone who told me their flat would need to be fumigated because of me. And I come out of the foyer I moved to Eastbourne under adult social care. My mother got cancer. She had to have a hysterectomy, and then it came back with a vengeance in the form of a rare cancer, peritoneal something or other. And the staff found it funny that an old man with a learning difficulty was harassing me. And my mother was angry about it. And the things that were said to me, it'd say to me, write it in the diary and laugh. I've got my own problems. You'll be out on your ear if your partner comes here. You know too much, that was the creepiest thing. I didn't know what they meant by you know too much. And they told my mother that me making a complaint in writing to them was getting them into trouble. They managed to...
To save message, press 0. To repeat recording, message saved.
Oh, God. I just got to get this all out. I've got to get this all out. I've got to get this out.
Thank you for calling the office of Caroline Ansell, Member of Parliament for Eastbourne and Willingdon. We're sorry that no one is able to take your call at the moment. If you require urgent assistance and you live in Eastbourne, please call the Eastbourne Community Hub on 01323 679 722. If you live in Willingdon, Chevington, Wannock or Polegate, please call the Wilden Community Hub on 01323 443322. You may also like to email Caroline at caroline.ansell.mp@parliament.uk. Alternatively, please leave your phone number, your name and a short message and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you.
This is my third message now for Caroline Ansell Office. David is the caseworker. Bryony McCarthy speaking. Yeah, so the social worker landlord had said to me, if you want to find out what you can come to me to find out why we're making you sign this homeless application form, which was I believe it was the 8th of August 2009, out of 13 Lascelles Terrace, Eastbourne. And basically, it was just very creepy. And he said, I've got my own problems. I said, so have I. My mother's dying of cancer. And the way he looked at me, I couldn't eat. I was on that floor. I couldn't eat. I was so weak on the floor of the room. I felt like I needed someone to physically pick me up. I'd also had my mental health discriminated. I'll quote the support worker, his brother, Mark Francis. What the fuck were you doing up on Beachy Head drunk? And that was the first time I'd ever been detained in a police cell, I think in 2008. And I don't drink. They know I don't drink or smoke or take drugs or anything like that. So I believe now that they've played a part. Because the way I was treated at the council, they said, do you think they see you as a troublemaker? And I thought that was odd. My mother had died of a rare cancer and people were saying, are they supporting you? I also want to report St Wilfred's Hospice. Ella Williams, a care coordinator, who bullied me away from seeing the nurses who nursed my dying mother. I've done care work, and the way that I have been treated by Sussex...
To save message, press 0. To repeat message saved.
I've got to get this out. I've got to get this out. I'm doing this for my mum as well as myself. I owe it to her to live, and I don't feel I can. It's affecting my physical health. I don't feel I can.
In the office of Caroline Ansell, Member of Parliament for Eastbourne and Willingdon, we're sorry that no one is able to take your call at the moment. If you require urgent assistance and you live within Eastbourne, please call the Eastbourne Community Hub on 01323 679 722. If you live in Willingdon, Chevington, Wannock or Polegate, please call the Wilden Community Hub on 01323 443322. You may also like to email Caroline at caroline.ansell.mp@parliament.uk. Alternatively, please leave your phone number, your name, and a short message, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you.
This is my fourth message for David, the caseworker at Caroline Ansell MP from Bryony McCarthy, a follow-on from all the other messages. So yes, the social worker landlord had said to me, you might want to check you haven't inherited cancer. I was forced to sign a homeless application. If you look on the NHS website for hoarding, it's a serious illness that I've had for 16 years since I moved, even before I moved to Eastbourne, because I went straight into the foyer. On the NHS website, it's a form of bereavement. The bereavement initially was with my mother selling the house. People said, is anyone helping you with your mother's cancer? She cried for me. She said they're supposed to be helping you. When I told her that the social worker landlord said it's down to you to get the help you need. And if you want to know what I've said about you, he was creepy. It started with him. A light has switched on. There's something not right about how this council have treated me long before Darren. Long before all of this and all these frauds and why people are picking on me. I moved to Eastbourne under adult social care. I tell you what, I'm going to leave another message. I've said to Lorraine Blackwell, and I've live streamed this on YouTube, if anything happens to me, whether I'm deceased or whether I live, you tell them, report the Herald, report the council. She said I will. I'm being deadly serious about this. I've been saying for years that even if the MP was to help me, because I've got something to say about Stephen Lloyd as well. But that Ella Williams, that care coordinator from St Wilfred's Hospice, she bullied me away.
Saved message, press 0. To repeat message saved.
It's got to come out. It's got to come out. As I'm really, really ill. It's been building up. 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 It's been building up.
Caroline Ansell, Member of Parliament for Eastbourne and Willingdon, we're sorry that no one is able to take your call at the moment. If you require urgent assistance and you live within Eastbourne, please call the Eastbourne Community Hub on 01323 679 722. If you live in Willingdon, Chevington, Wannock or Polegate,
absolute bastards. Evil bastards.
You may also like to email Caroline at caroline.ansell.mp@parliament.uk. Alternatively, please leave your phone number, your name and a short message and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you.
This is my fifth message from Bryony McCarthy for David, the caseworker at Caroline Ansell Office. I'm doing this for my mother, if nothing else. So So my mother was dying of a rare cancer. She was in the DGH and she died in the old St Wilfred's Hospice. I was in an abuse. I was too late. I was in an abusive relationship almost immediately after, physical and emotional, short-lived relationship. And I was so weak. I had no one. And the hoarding problem, and it's on the NHS website, that's due to bereavement. It got out of hand. I was supposed to have management help with money and everything before all of this. It's like hell has been orchestrated for me. So I'm struggling with my sleep and everything. Now, I'm going to leave another message because I've got something I want to report. Care for the carers, and what the police have done to me. This needs to go to the higher than the Chief Constable Joe Shiner, because this is life begins at 40, does it? Well, in a couple of months' time, I feel that life is going to end at that point for me, because of what has been done to me. And I want a personal public apology also from the Herald. I've been saying for years that if Caroline Ansell was to do, they love these phrases, magic wand, if she was to wave a magic wand and do all of these wonderful things, I still would be.
Press 0. To repeat recording, message saved.
It's just I can't. I've just absolutely crashed. I've crashed. Now the truth is coming out. Now I can be my authentic self.
Of Caroline Ansell, Member of Parliament for Eastbourne and Wellington. We're sorry that no one is able to take your call at the moment. If you require urgent assistance and you live within Eastbourne, please call the Eastbourne Community Hub on 01323 679 722. If you live in Willington, Jevington, Wannock or Polegate, please call the Wilden Community Hub on 01323 443322. You may also like to email Caroline at caroline.ansell.mp@parliament.uk. Alternatively, please leave your phone number, your name and a short message and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you.
Yeah, this is, I believe, the 6th message for someone called David, a caseworker at Caroline Ansell Office, from Bryony McCarthy. I'm feeling very weak and I'm just trying to get this all out. So, yeah, care for the carers. Scott Stevens when Stephen Lloyd was in office a few years ago, he heard Darren screaming at me and I was crying down the phone to him, and it was humiliating because he'd rung the police. I just jumped out of the bath and got on the phone to Scott. I said he's doing this to intimidate me, and Darren was screaming his head off. And Scott, they all heard it in the office, and Scott said, Darren, you've got to stay calm for Bryony. So why is it that Stephen Lloyd office, those horrible women, when I rang, when I had been reported missing in the local Herald in 2018, in June of that year, and I'd been buying washing line wire to put round my neck, knives. And Darren had to have stitches from where he snatched a knife from me. And then in December of 2018, I stabbed myself through the arm with a 6-inch knife. It went right through. And the police had to come and take my stuff. And they went on to Steve Churchill, took them from he's got them at Steve Churchill from the food bank took them. Before I stabbed myself, I'd rang Stephen Lloyd office to ring on behalf of me and a frail old lady who was being abused at the Congress apartment.
Message, press 0. To repeat message saved.
I've got to get this all off my chest. I've got to get this out of there. I've just got to get this out.
Caroline Ansell, Member of Parliament for Eastbourne and Wellington. We're sorry that no one is able to take your call at the moment. If you require urgent assistance and you live...
Yes, mental health services in the UK are crap.
01323 679 722. If you live in Wellington...
The toxic positive narcissist.
Please call the Wilden Community Hub.
Covert narcissism.
443322.
British stiff upper lip. Tavistock Institute, Committee of 300, where they all get their training from, the police, the social workers. Now I know. It's Bryony McCarthy. I think it's the 7th message now for David, the caseworker at Caroline Ansell Office. This is what happens when you've had all this hell done to you. I feel so weak. I feel like an old lady that's dying. That's how I feel. I'm looking at a ghost basically, and you've got to take this seriously. You have got to report all. I deserve a public apology for all of this. Well, I deserve a whole lot more than that. Care for the carers, yeah. So Scott Stevens from Stephen Lloyd office and all the women there in the office heard Darren screaming and me crying down the phone. And then the next time I get shouted at by the women, they're saying, Scott tried to help you, and they hung up on me. And I rang back to say, who was it who shouted at me? I had a horrible woman at the food bank. There has been all these so-called Christians. Caroline Ansell is meant to be a Christian, is she? My God. I don't know what's happening now. I don't know what this is.
Voicemail disabled for this extension.
Can you believe that? It said voicemail extension disabled for this extension. Do they block people who are in distress at the serious failings? This is what happens. There you go, folks. This is what happens when they've basically exploited you. Yeah, come in. We'll use you as a cash cow. The institutions in this country. That's why there are so many screwed up people in this country. That's why that they turn to alcohol and drugs. Oh, I don't know what it's like anywhere else, but I've heard it's not that different in New Zealand because my mother lived in New Zealand. My mother lived in Canada and America. And I don't know where else she lived, but she travelled the world. She travelled at sea. But her friend in New Zealand said it's not that different over there, the mental health services. I don't know. When you finally hit, when the trauma just finally hits you, it's like an early midlife crisis. When you've been a nice girl all your life, and all the criminals and lowest of the lows are laughing. But I just could say this: hell is a long time. Eternity is a long time to be in hell. It's the only reassurance I've got. There's something not right about any of this, though.
Of Caroline Ansell, Member of Parliament for Eastbourne and Willingdon. We're sorry that no one is able to take your call at the moment. If you require urgent assistance and you live within Eastbourne, please call the Eastbourne Community Hub on 01323 679 722. If you live in Willingdon, Chevington, Wannock or Polegate, please call the Wilden Community Hub on 01323 443322. You may also like to email Caroline at caroline.ansell.mp@parliament.uk. Alternatively, please leave your phone number, your name and a short message and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you.
Hello, it must be the 7th or 8th message for David, the caseworker at Caroline Ansell Office from Bryony McCarthy. Yeah, there's a lot that's not making any sense, and why care for the carers and everywhere I've been treated me as if I was aggressive. And why did Darren have a dictaphone? He never explained why. Yeah, I know why I have a dictaphone, because Sergeant Simmons told me to purchase it. But at the start of our relationship, he had this dictaphone, but he never actually said why he had it and who he was recording. But he's always looked at my phone and stuff, and just checking my phone. I'm not allowed to touch anything of his, which the NSPCC website says that's abuse, because they're talking about child abuse as well, how you can be a victim of it just by witnessing it. But no, I just all these people that are complicit in my failings. As I said, Scott Stevens and Stephen Lloyd were aware of this as well. And I need you to I don't know if I have the strength to email you, but St Wilfred's Hospice, Care for the Carers, the Chief Constable of Sussex Police, Sam Allen. I wouldn't even want to bother with the CEO of Sussex Partnership. God, there was a young man who jumped off Beachy Head where his brother jumped off Beachy Head. He discharged himself at the same time that I was reported missing in the Herald. I'm aware. I've known of one or two people who have taken their own lives. Sussex Partnership are responsible for several suicides and one.
To save message, press 0. To repeat record, message saved.
Keep going. Keep going.
Ansell, Member of Parliament for Eastbourne and Willingdon. We're sorry that no one is able to take your call at the moment. If you require urgent assistance and you live within Eastbourne, please call the Eastbourne Community Hub on 01323 679 722. If you live in Willingdon, Jevington, Wannock or Polegate, please call the Wilden Community Hub on 01323 443322. You may also like to email Caroline at caroline.ansell.mp@parliament.uk. Alternatively, please leave your phone number, your name and a short message and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you.
Hello, it's Bryony McCarthy again. It must be the 8th or 9th, I don't know, message for a caseworker named David at Caroline Ansell Office. So as I said, Sussex Partnership, I'm aware that they're responsible for several suicides, including one murder, and it was actually the victim of the murder, the murdered victim, that was angry that the murderer didn't get the help. Well, what does that tell you about Sussex Partnership? Yeah, so I'm aware of what was his name? The lad who jumped off Beachy Head, where his brother jumped off, Reese. I didn't know this chap. I just saw him from a distance, and someone said something. Then he apparently killed himself around the time that I discharged myself, and I was going up there. Famous. You got one of the world's famous suicide spots in one of the country's worst towns, with the rudest people, the worst mental health services, and this is what has been done to me. And they've continued to do it. And Caroline Ansell is complicit in my failings. The Beachy Head chaplains, they're meant to be Christians. A lot of people like you, Bryony. Well, I hate to think how they'd treat me if I was their worst enemy. This is what I'm saying. Do pass this on to Caroline Ansell. Please do. Because it seems I can't get my head around this. You know why? Because I'm struggling. I am so ill. I am so weak. I have been seriously discriminated against. A lot of people are getting the help that don't need.
To save message, press 0. To repeat record, message saved.
The Herald.
Parliament for Eastbourne and Willingdon. We're sorry that no one is able to take your call at the moment. If you require urgent assistance and you live within Eastbourne, please call the Eastbourne Community Hub on 01323 679 722. If you live in Willingdon, Jevington, Wannock or Polegate, please call the Wilden Community Hub on 01323 443322. You may also like to email Caroline at caroline.ansell.mp@parliament.uk. Alternatively, please leave your phone number, your name and a short message and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you.
This is hopefully my final message for David, the caseworker at Caroline Ansell Office. I require a public apology and a serious investigation. The fact that I've still got 2 Panorama BBC producers' phone numbers on my phone is quite ironic. that was to do with Sussex Partnership. And then I met John Alexander Patterson, whom the Ministry of Defence put in that hellhole for exposing everything. Care for the Carers, the Herald, St Wilfred's Hospice, Eastbourne Borough Council, Sussex Partnership and Sussex Police. Chief Constable Joe Shiner, there needs to be a serious investigation into these unlawful detainings where I've been on severe disability. I've spent thousands of pounds when I couldn't manage my grandfather's inheritance because I couldn't manage money. I couldn't manage myself. I was already in a serious state of mental health decline when my late mother sold the house. Then she got cancer. Then she got a rare cancer. This was all said to Nick Stepney, who no longer works as a housing officer, but they are all accountable for my failings. This is why everyone that I've seen at St Mary's House, everyone I've seen in this town, even if I've never met them before, the first thing they say is you need to take responsibility, because these narcissists are irresponsible for their own duty, just like Jennifer Maris, just like Rhian Tucker. They lie. I am sick to death of lies. This is all going on YouTube.
To save message, press 0. To repeat recording, message saved.
I'm going to leave my phone number and my details and end this live stream. But they've already got them. But I'm really at the end of it.